So if you can, turn on your camera, um, you know, for greater interaction. Looking at a blank screen um, is not inspiring. But if we're flexible, but have it in your mind when you come to class that you can have your camera on and be interactive. Um, study, they find that when a person is not active, when they just taking in the information, um, they pick up about 10-15%. If you get active and start taking notes, that puts you about 20 to 25. But if you interact, like for instance, if you answer a question or do um, a comment, a point, or pass on the information to another person, it goes into your subconscious as much as 80%. So it like takes it up 4 times. All right. And one of the ways to be active too is to interact with the eyes and the mouth. In fact, it brings up a story. I've been very blessed to have some divine feminine blessings in my life. And back in the day, when I wasn't so evolved, I would say, will you stop giving me all that mouth? Yeah. But in reality, I was giving it to myself. The world is as you are. Anyway, so we're moving right along now. This is building, just like a farmer. You put the seed in the ground, okay? And putting the seed in the ground is the whole mental framework. Everything is mine. Remember, one of the basic laws of the 7 laws of Hermes, also known as uh, uh, transmiscite or whatever it is, but it's the same dude. And that dude had in Egypt, also South America, all over the world. Okay. And he came from Atlantis back in the day. All right. And that's the brother also who ruled for 14,000 years. So he was on the planet at least, because they had to grow up 16,000 years, And so it's such a different framework where we're looking at barely making it to 100. In fact, a friend of mine just recently said that, and I think I mentioned it on the last thing, that his mother, she was still driving, she's still doing all kinds of stuff and lived by herself, lived to 100. But she in her mind, she would say to her son all the time when she was 90, she said, "Look, I'm almost 100, you know." And when she was 95, she was saying it. And then when she finally got to be 100, the next month she dropped the body. Okay, because that was in her mind. She was going to live to 100. You can choose. I was just talking to my mother, and she was, I think she'll be 92. Um, and we were talking and saying, and she said, "Well, most of my friends are dead. It's like most of those people are not even around anymore." I said, Mom, you got at least another 10 plus years. And she was saying, I don't want to. I don't want to be here. I want to get out of this place. I've had a tough time, you know. And most people, when they grow up in age, they, because their bodies start deteriorating and all the trials and tribulations that they've had, they're ready to check out, you see? But it's all from your mindset, from your consciousness. But checking out doesn't stop the experience, and that's why development of higher states of consciousness, because, it's just like going to sleep at night. When you go to sleep at night, you have an experience. Most of the time, you're unconscious, all right? But then when you wake up, you're back in this experience. So, in fact, some spiritual people call sleep little death, because it's that you don't have a body, okay? So, anyway, while we're here in this 3D reality, we want to maximize. And we're in the Western world, you don't build your own home, you don't grow your own crops, you got to create some currency, okay? And the greatest currency is your consciousness, all right? The greatest currency is mana, is substance, okay? So what we're looking at now is prosperous, opulent attitudes towards money, wealth, and riches. Specifically money, because money is the thing that we have created as a mean of exchange, usually exchange for value. And money has been different things at different times. It's been seashells, it's been different things. Now it's paper by the Federal Reserve, right? And that's getting ready to change. I mean, some of you might have heard about it, some of you probably haven't heard about it, but you want to start being more and more aware. There's a thing that's called a CBDC, central bank digital currency, okay? And Biden has already signed it into existence. It's going to probably take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to go into existence. But that means everything becomes digital. Like right now, there are trillions of dollars going through the atmosphere, right? And it's like the Reverend Ike said, and this is reverse engineering. Brother said, look, if you're catching hell, put down your mitt so you're not catching it no more, okay? We're looking at up the mitt and catching the currency, all right? Catching the money, the wealth, the riches. But you got to put up your mitt, which means to raise your frequency and vibration. So you can go out and achieve money, wealth, and riches through hard work, which is what they push, all right? But then you get the stress, the strain, the conditionings, and you definitely won't be here past 100 because you wear yourself out, all right? Or you can step into, not being the thief on the right, which is the future, not being the thief, which is being in the now, and the sin, and being into naturally opening yourself up to all the wealth, riches, abundance, opulence that the universe has to give you, which is given to you all the time. But you got to have that attitude, that consciousness. So that's what we're looking at, is these prosperous attitudes, these opulent attitudes towards abundance. And then we use those laws we've gone over, the law of increase, the creative law, the vacuum law, forgiveness, all the laws to increase and to attract that abundance. And the major law, which is the law of radiation and attraction. For every cause, there's an effect, right? So, first off, money is divine, just straight up. Actually, everything is. But you want to get it in your mind that money is divine. Because we got all these conditionings and programmings that state that, you know, money is the root of all evil, all this stupid stuff, you know, uh, filthy. Look at, if you're rich, is it filthy? Okay. It's not filthy. It's a blessing. All right. It's a blessing. All right. And generally it comes from you creating some level of value. And in exchange, you receive a certain amount of abundance. And you can take it to higher levels. One of the affirmations that I heard with the last few months, which I'm starting to use, and you can add, subtract, all kinds of incantations. See, an incantation is an affirmation where you're putting it in yourself. You got your feeling into it. Remember, like the Indians going around the fire, you're in it. Okay. And so, and that is, I get paid just to exist. All right. Just to exist. Okay. But you got to set up an avenue where you're taking out the weed and shooing away the birds that want to come and get the seed so that can happen. And the higher you go, the more fast and fructifying the karma is. Okay. So I had a lapse in thought to get that ticket. All right. But it's okay. We bless it and we create even more. You see. So one of the things is understanding that it's divine and you're divine. You're just attracting what is naturally you to yourself. It's all good. You can do so much good with abundance. Most people are just looking, to pay their own bills, have a little extra. But what about overflowing abundance? About philanthropy. You see, you have so much that you're giving to other people, persons, from you. So in your ideal scene, and you project out whatever it is, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, you might want to see yourself as that type of individual. But it's unique in the universe in that you got to be in that state. You got to be in that identity before that will attract it to you. Most of us think, well, I got to create this. I got to do that. I got to get this. I got to do that. And no, it's the opposite way. You're in that state of consciousness, that frequency and that vibration, and then those things will be drawn unto you. Drawn unto you is another way to say, means attracted to you. A lot of people say, well, when I get all my bills paid, or I get my kids off to college, or pay a house, or this or that and the other, then I can be happy. I'll tell you guys another story. I had a good friend of mine when I was up in DC, and I think I mentioned this story before, but stories kind of get it in your into your subconscious. All right. And she had a daddy that worked all the time. And he said he wouldn't even take a vacation, nothing. And he said, when I retire, I'm gonna take a vacation. And the same thing happened to him that the 100-year-old did. The dude retired, and that's young. He retired at 65. Died the next day. Okay. Remember, the number one time in the West that people drop their body is 9 a.m. Monday morning. Just a thought to go back to work, even though they might already be retired. Okay? They said, I had enough. I'm out of here. Planet Earth, the I had enough. I'm out of here. But what they don't realize is they're just coming back until you realize the truth. It's called samsara, the wheel of life. You know, as we mentioned before, in every sacred spiritual culture in the world with over 8 billion people in it, everybody has reincarnation in their sacred books. Only in the West, they took it out. Okay. The Council of Constantinople. And that was so that the Romans and the Catholic Church could control everybody. All right. So money is divine. And one of the biggest things to get out of as we go to these opulent attitudes towards money is you want to have money working for you instead of you working for money. Okay? I'm going to say that again. You want to have money working for you instead of you. Okay? And it wants to grow and it wants to go to work. In fact, one of the success homeworks is there's a great book, and it's also in audio if you want to just get it on YouTube. It's called Dollars Want Me. Dollars Want Me. Okay. It's written back in, I think, like the 30s or something Harrison Brown. But there's no other book with that name. Okay. So, and they do. They want to be used through you. But what happens is people try to hold on to them, or they in their mind they've created a certain thermostat. You know how your heater works, or your air conditioner works. You set it at a certain thermostat, and if it goes above that, it'll bring it back down. If it goes below that, it'll bring it back up. We all have a thermostat that we put in our subconscious. Okay. Taking trainings like this, and especially deep meditation, releases thermostats, but you got to put in the intention. That's why you got to, to go somewhere, you got, when you use a GPS, you got to go the coordinates. When you go to a restaurant, you don't say, just give me food. That's why it's important. The creative law of opulence and prosperity, you write down, your goals, your desires, and they can change. You can adjust them. Okay. But you want to focus on what you choose and accept. Okay. So we want to look at these prosperous attitudes. I know you've heard those sayings. Everything I touch turns to gold. Okay. That's just a way of you realizing your true worth, because everything you do touch, you're light. And gold is crystallized light. All right. So you're uplifting. That's that law of increase. You're adding increase to everyone and everything, including yourself. And therefore, you open up the channel, otherwise known as God, Allah, source, walking, talking. Okay. It's always to you and always saying yes, yes, yes. The only thing you got to do is get your mind out of the way and refine your nervous system so your mind is not clogged up. See? So refining the nervous system is why you meditate, why you light, why you go out in nature, why you pray, why you do incantations, why you use the third piece, color therapy, gym therapy, symbols, all these things are so you can get right with yourself. You see what I'm saying? And doing the work, having a program that you do every day, regularly. The biggest thing, which we told you about in TM, was regularity. Twice a day, every day, regularity. Because you got to the mission. You're putting that in your system. You're dipping into pure consciousness. All right. You're dissolving the stress so you can go deeper and deeper. And even though you got the stress in there, as you know, when there are clouds in the sky, the sun can still pierce through. Okay. But the more you dip in and dip out, meditation and activity, meditation and activity, meditation and activity, you see, the more stays with you. And therefore, you end up doing less and accomplishing more. And you program your mind right. You get rid of can't. You get rid of, I can't afford. It's usually not a lack of resources, it's like a resourcefulness. And a lot of times it might come at the last minute. But those who are persistent are the ones who make it happen. And that that it will happen because you put it in your own mind and you're a creator. And whether the man, the weather, the job, the this, the that, the other, it really doesn't matter. But you got a whole vision, people will perish. And it's so true. And that's why we started this whole journey. And whenever we're doing training, is knowing when you know that you're Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. When you know that there's no other than me. Okay. Tat-twam-asi. Okay. I am that. All this is that. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the greatest. Brahman. I am the totality. Okay. So as you start realizing that and knowing it on deep level, see, the deeper you go within yourself, the greater the experience in reality. Remember, you got to pull the bow back to let the arrow go. All right. And that's why, again, I'm recommending you guys to come in August. This is an experience you want to have. Okay. Most people don't get a chance to go that deep within themselves in a select environment of peace, literally a back to Eden type of experience. So that you see? So as above, so below, as within, so without. So the deeper you go within yourself, greater the experience out there. And you start in 5 or 10% of your life, you start living 200%. 100% of the outer and 100% of the inner. See? Know thyself. And as you know yourself, you start to know the truth, and then the truth will set you free. You see? Heaven and hell are states of mind. But you got to realize it. And the more you do the work, the more you show up, the more you do the self-care, the more you meditate, the more you do the 108 wave vibration. Okay. The more you start stepping into your natural birthright. That's exactly that analogy in the Bible. Then you stop being the prodigal son or the daughter. When you come back home, now I am home. And the rightful consciousness has made me wealthy. See? And you want to do things and be in that experience. You know, just like Brother Ron said, he's found that standing in front of the mirror, you know, sometimes you say affirmations. I started doing that too. I did it years ago. In fact, I met the sister um, who started that whole thing. And in fact, she's an advanced meditator too, Louise Hay. In fact, I met her on court where she was on a course for, I think it was a week or two. All right. So look at, see, you can have regular vacations. Well, some people don't take vacations at all, but you can take a vacation within yourself. In other parts of the world, it's called a pilgrimage. Okay. But the greatest pilgrimage is not where you physically go somewhere, but they go there physically so they have the inner experience. So when you set up a pilgrimage, the deeper you go, it's like going to the highest mountaintop. You see? That's what Yeshua did when he did 40 days in the desert. So you go into the desert of your own mind and the discordant thoughts that limit your existence. You get rid of them. That's what Buddha did when he sat under the Bodhi tree. Okay. He was a prince. He had everything in the world, everything. He gave it all up to find the truth. And it was all inside of him. All right. It's just like recently there's a thing from Guru Dev, which is Maharishi's teacher. That's the dude that left his family at 9 when other kids were playing and stuff, and they ain't paying no attention to him. They said, "Look, go back and play. You're 9 years old." He said, "Okay, I love you, but bye," and left and never came back. And the dude was so awesome that he created his own light, and any wild animal within a miles radius became tame. Okay, meditated on a tiger skin. And you know, tigers are bigger than lions. They're huge, and they're man eaters and other kind of animal eaters. I mean, they're huge. You know, what kind of consciousness do you have that a tiger comes up to you, puts his in your lap, and say, "Look, you can have my skin. I'm getting ready to drop the body anyway. You can meditate on me. It would be my blessing." Okay. That's a whole nother level of consciousness. All right. But we all have that within us. I am the Father God of one. All right. And then he gives Maharishi a job, a little teeny job. Okay. A little infancy job. Eliminate suffering for all of mankind. Everybody. See? But you got to have a magnanimous consciousness, because most people just think about themselves or maybe just their little family. You're looking at eliminating suffering for the entire globe. You got to have some development of consciousness, right? We all have that potential within us. And one of the things he said, look, in fact, I think I got it in here. I'll show it right at the end. But they're saying, look, you go through something like, it was millions of births to be at a human birth. Okay. And don't give up your life for the price of spinach when it's a diamond. But eating, sleeping, paying bills, having a little, relationship interaction. All right. Animals do that. Animals don't pay bills. Okay. But they eat, sleep, and have sex. Right. And you're not an there. I'm divine blessings. Every okay. That's another thing too. When you say your affirmations, you put your hand over your heart. That was an affirmation. I heard it somewhere, and then I started using it. Okay. So you create your own, you hear from others, and you just put it in your consciousness. I am powerful, invincible, enlightened, and free. A humber monster. Right? So we want to look at that in terms of the material world, the 3D world. And we all deserve to be a conscious millionaire. All of us. You should have abundance. It shouldn't just be all right, or a little below all right, or a little above all right. It should be overflowing, pressed down, overflowing. That is your birthright. Up into it. All right. So, I was talking to Netta the great brother, we're going to be doing a seminar with, and we had one or two people who, going to bring some people in. So we're going to have a seminar for just their people. All right. And this one sister said, well, whoever shows up, it, this is divine timing for. And both of us laughed, because she's not in this business of, getting people to do things, even if it's good for them. You got to put out some effort. So it's called marketing. Okay. It's called promotion. You see? On planet Earth, you can do less and accomplish more. But when you're in the physical realm, you do have to put forth until you reach a black avatar level of a Yeshua, a Jesus, a Rama, a Buddha. Because then you say stuff just happens. People call it miracles. But it's that you're so in tune with natural law that natural law fulfills your every thought and desire, because you are natural law. You see? So we want to just keep saturating our being, art. And we're going to be going over it more and more as we go deeper into the class. But there's a whole of making money. I know you heard the thing, the love of money is the root of all evil, right? The brother Red turned around. He said the lack of money is the root of all evil. When people don't have money, that's when they start thieving, they start tripping, they start, I'm going to go to the other village and take everything from them.
Okay, yeah.
And they do get the karma. Okay. Always get the karma. But you want to look at start doing less and accomplishing more superfluid. Get behind the wheel and use one finger instead of always getting out of the car and trying to push it to make the turn. All right. So understand that you want to start making money your servant instead of your master. See, money is a poor master, but a great servant. And you want to give up these mixed attitudes towards it. One of the exercise, we're not going to do it here. You can do it at home. It's just take some time, think about what you have been told when you grew up, or what you've heard in society. Okay. Especially as you were growing up. Money, I ain't got no money for this. That. All that stuff goes in conscious. All right. And write it down. Take a piece of paper, put a line down the middle, come up with the saying, the less than or the negative saying, and then write a positive one for it. Okay. That's another little hack in terms of changing your attitude towards money. Okay. And you want to give up these mixed attitudes. And remember, whatever you put your attention on grows in. So put your attention on what you want. If you want to go around the world in 80 days, in fact, back in the day, some of you might remember Pan Am Airlines. Okay. I had a girlfriend that worked on Pan Am, and I wanted to travel. Where I wanted to travel was to go to teacher training, which was in Africa. Okay. So she put me on as a relative, and she got me. I didn't have the money, but me getting on that thing, an around the world ticket when I went to Africa. In fact, what happened was I stopped in Paris and I stopped in Rome. In fact, in Rome, the Italian dudes, they were like messing with me. I ran, I was sitting there, okay? And then they start throwing rocks they start throwing pebbles at me. And then they started to get bigger. And I'm like by myself. There's a whole gang of young dudes. So, I grew up in the hood. So I turned around real fast and act like I had a gun in my I write this stuff in the book, you know. And they stopped, because they thought I was going to blow them away. No gun. I just had the intention that you're going to stop messing with me. And I started acting like that. Okay. And after the course, I was going to continue on around the world. I was going to do the whole around the world, but I had gone so deep into myself. 3 months of rounding. Okay. I got to say, like I was saying, we're going to get to, I think it's 2-on-3 or 3-on-3 when in Jamaica. But we started on 1-on-1, and in 3 months, we went to 12-on-12, which means you don't even sleep at night. You barely eat. And then we came back down. And after having those experiences, all I wanted to do was go back home and share it. I opened up the first Black center in DC, up on Park Road. Okay. My whole life changed. And remember, I was talking about Grandma Moses. It doesn't matter the age. Sarah, she's in her 90s. She had always wanted to have a baby. She had it in her 90s because she had enough consciousness and was able to reverse the aging process. Okay. Like I'm single now, and so, most women around my age or a little below me, they think they can't because that's in their mind. There's nothing that you can't do. If you want to have some more children and you got enough consciousness, you can do it. in ancient times, in Lemuria, before we took on physical form, as physical, we were more etheric. People literally used to, through the first eye, which we call the third eye, they just look at each other, not through the eye, but through those eyes, and go, and a full being is born. Boom. Like that. Okay. It's a field of all possibilities. All right. Remember, I told you guys the story of the great sage that got on the boat, and the daughter of the boatman, they liked each other. So he created this whole he created this whole lifetime where they they had palaces, they lived great lives, they had kids, you know. And then he put her back in the boat. Well, she was still in the boat, but one of her bodies back in the boat, and then turned her back into a virgin. Okay. You can do anything. There's nothing limited. There's a story of a great king who couldn't have any. He wanted to have sons to carry on his tradition. So in the East, they have a thing that's called a yagya. Some of you might have seen it before. It's like a fire ceremony. It's just that a yagya is a big puja. Puja is what we did when you learn TM. With the fruit, the flowers, the handkerchief, the little bit of fire. They're logs, and they go on for days, and it's literally to propitiate the laws of nature. You propitiate the gods with the small g. So he had a yagya, and then a manifestation came forth and said, look, we'll create sons for you. All right. And a big, the thing when women have a baby, the placenta, a big placenta came out, and then pieces of it broke off, and the dude ended up with like 1,000 prince in full armor. Okay, he ended up with 10,000 sons from not being able to have any. Okay. It's a field of all possibilities. You can do anything. You can be anything. You can have anything. But you got to extend your mind, and you got to have the nervous system to support it. You see? So whenever you get a chance to develop your nervous system, do it. And you just keep going higher and higher. Remember, it's without end. There's Earth. There's the 9 planets. There's the sun, the moon. That's the solar system. You got the galaxies. You got the clusters of galaxies. You got the universe. You got the omniverse. And you go back, and you have the same thing within you. Right. Step up to the plate. Go from, regular experiences to cosmic experiences. Go from regular orgasm to cosmic orgasm. Right? It's a field of all possibilities, research and development. Okay? And understand who and what you really are. And remember, victims live by chance. Masters live by choice. And all of you are stepping up to the plate to be a master. You're all masters. You're all gods. You're all goddesses. You're all sorcerers. But you got to realize it. Okay? And understand that money, wealth, and riches is all energy. It's all frequency and vibration. So you have to match that frequency. And your thought is the strongest, most creative most sudden force in the entire universe. Remember, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. What is word? Your word is your thought, your word is your spoken word, and your word is your feeling. And when you marry all three of them, remember there's three in one, then that manifests. It has to, by law, it has to manifest in 3D reality. That's the law that we set up. You've created the cause, that's the effect. Get out of trying to move effects around. Establish yourself in the cause. Another way to raise your vibration is appreciation, gratitude. Be thankful. And be enthusiastic. And that's how you become enthusiastic, because you start lightening yourself up. You're a multi-dimensional light being. When you get into the gross matter, you start limiting yourself. And everything during Kali Yuga is to take you deeper into matter. Deeper and deeper. Okay? And you either buy into that or you say, I pass. I choose to go higher. All right? And we don't knock the publicists, in DC, they're everywhere. Okay? The Senate, the House, you got the police. There's more police in DC than anywhere else. You got the CIA, the FBI, you got the police for the White House, you got the police for the park. You see? In China, they up front. Government, we're communists, we running everything. In the US, it's like a friend of mine said, the US is the most unfree country in the world. I'm going to say that again. The most free, unfree country in the entire world. And they are the police of the world. There's something like, I think it's like 350, 380 bases, armed force bases in every country in the world. Not including ones here in the US. Okay? In fact, that's how the brother, Harry Potter, I drive by it every day, go out to eat out in East Point. Tyler Perry got his studio. It was an armed force base. Okay? So adding that increase, adding the appreciation, the approval, the attention, okay, to everything that you do. But work on yourself. The highest priority is to work on yourself. And remember that everything is within us, everything. Therefore, life flows from us, not to us. Okay? Everything is within us. Therefore, life flows from us, not to us. We're conditioned to think that we got to go get it. You got to hustle. You got to get it. You got to get some money to do. No. What you got to do is develop your consciousness. And then all those things will be presented to you. And then you start to do less, accomplish more. And then you can reach a level where you do nothing and accomplish everything. All right. You just have the thought, and thoughts create. Thoughts are things. Like in the Bible, it says, let the weak say I am strong. It's a lot of truth in that book. All right. But you got to step forward. Okay. Here's a quote. It says, the spoken word carries vibrations through the universe and moves intelligence inherent in every form, animate and inanimate. Man, the highest emanation of divine mind, has great directive power and is really a cooperator with God. That's that co-creation with God in forming the universe. All right? We're the ones who's creating it. I and my Father are one. Be a co-creator. If God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, when does God end and you begin? There's no ending. Wake up. All right. Are there any questions, comments, or points of clarification?
Yes, what's that? I'm sorry, you went in and out a lot on this particular. It's William. Blessings to everybody. You went in and out a lot on this particular recording, so that's not your fault. You said that there was an incantation or an affirmation that you say. I think I heard it one time. Could you? And I don't know if there was one or two. Could you tell us again, or me again, actually, what that affirmation is, please? Thank you.
Okay. Which one were you talking about? There's a
Okay.
number of them.
Okay. So there was one about abundance. I am something, and I was listening, and then you moved on from it. I think it was earlier in your talk. I think it was basic. I think it was basic money attraction or basic abundance attraction, or maybe I didn't listen enough.
Yeah. See, what happened is, you probably noticed he was going up as I was delivering, and it happens all the time. When you start
Okay.
to get into this high frequency stuff, the phones, the Zoom, the this, the that, they be tripping,
Hard. Well, they was tripping hard on this one.
But I just mentioned a few of my favorites. One is, I am here, I am there, I'm divine love and blessings everywhere. Okay. Another one is, okay, I am powerful, invincible, enlightened, and free. Aham. And Aham is AHAM, and Brahmasmi is BRAHMASMI. I am Brahman. I am the totality. It's basically saying I am God.
Yeah. Brahmasi. Okay.
Okay.
Brahmasi. So it says I'm powerful. I'm powerful. I am. That was the one I was looking for. I'm
powerful, invincible,
enlightened,
and free.
Aham. Okay. Powerful, invincible, and like Aham Brahmasi.
Brahmasmi.
You totally froze. And still frozen.
Yeah. Brahmasmi. BRAHMASMI.
Aham Brahmasi.
Brahmasmi.
Brahmasmi. Brahmasmi. Yes. Okay. Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes.
Okay. That was the one I was looking for.
Okay. Awesome. I like that too. Awesome sauce. Certain things you hear it, and then you can create stuff. You just create it. Remember, you're a creator. Just like God in the beginning. Your whole life is in the beginning. You're creating stuff all the time. We're just trying to, we're working on getting you to be conscious of it. And remember this, I've told you guys in some of the other courses, and most people don't believe me unless they've been around me for a while, but sleep is overrated. Oh, I want my sleep. Yeah, because your soul wants to get out of this. Okay. But you get to the point where you will even start witnessing your sleep because you're conscious. You're not unconscious. That starts to become foreign to you. Become unconscious, an unconscious being. But everything in life is you know, stuff in the food, stuff in the water, stuff in the politics, stuff in the, you know, the corporation. All that stuff is, but that's Kali Yuga doing their job. You can't get mad at them because if you get mad at them, you lower your vibration, and then you start being like them. You see, you bless them, and they perpetuate that. In fact, some of you guys might remember there was a movie where everybody in the movie, I'm mad as hell. They had people open up windows, hollering. That's conditioning. Remember, 64 seconds. You can be as mad as you want to, but unless you want to bring your frequency down and cause some more not so good karma, you want to be over it in 64 seconds. And like Ron said, he didn't take the chance on the last 4 seconds. He stopped it at 60. Okay. And you can keep going. It's a free will universe, but why beat yourself up? See? The more conscious you become, you understand what you're doing. Just like my mom, and I love her dearly. Look, from the old school, I'll curse you out in a minute. Mom, you're hurting yourself. Okay? It's like, no, I'm getting that person. I'm going to tear him up. How can you tear? That person is you. But if you don't have the consciousness, then the biggest game on planet Earth, the gigantic biggest game, is separation. See? That's another reason why deep meditation is so powerful, because you unify. You unify within yourself first. Be still and know that I am God. Even in science, when the system goes down to absolute zero, the entropy goes out. Entropy is order, disease, disharmony. So be still on a regular basis. Okay? And then you start experiencing unity, oneness. It's also called God realization. How are you going to realize God and you don't even know yourself? That's why it's all this belief stuff. Oh, I believe. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe. I believe. You can believe anything, but that doesn't make it truth. Truth comes from the level of knowingness, which is direct cognition. Remember, the Ma'at is mind of man and woman. Comes from direct cognition. You see? But you got to refine your system enough and expand your consciousness enough and reduce your subconscious and turn it into conscious for you to realize that. And then you start experiencing 24-hour bliss. Not you just happy once in a while or this and that, or you're happy while you're awake. You're happy 24/7. That is our essential birthright, to be in bliss. Bliss is extreme happiness. In fact, the Maharishi said, look, you're not even a human being, a fully human being, until you reach cosmic consciousness, which is the level of 24-hour bliss. And it's true. I mean, look at the sayings. When somebody's really doing something, oh, you're a beast. You got to get out and hustle. You have a side. No, 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 no. You attract. You still got to do something, but it's inspired action. You love doing it. In fact, some of you might remember the book, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, which is poetry, beautiful poetry. Okay. All right. And he says you get to work is love made visible. Okay. Now that's true work. And it's like you're not working at all. Because at that level, you're serving. You know? And at its highest level, sales. You don't like sales. I don't want to do sales. Service. You're helping people to step up to the plate of themselves, as long as you got something that's valuable. Okay. I feel I got one of the greatest jobs in the world, professions in the world, to help people to wake up to their greatness, avatarhood, to help people wake up to their God realization, Christ consciousness. Okay. But a lot, especially with my beloved family, it's like pulling teeth. Okay.
And I wanted and I wanted to interrupt you and stop you right there. Good segue. You talk about unity. However, you may have some family members who are ornery, maybe, I don't even want to use the word, but they're mean. It's another word for mean, and they're mean
Right.
all the time. So what do you say? How do you deal with uh, a parent or parents or siblings, immediate family members who they're not going to get it, ain't got it, ain't trying to get it? So do you walk away, stop talking? I know you still show up in love, but then there's constant jabs. So what do you do in that case? How have you dealt with family members who were not so nice? And I'm being nice when I say not so nice.
Right, right. I understand. Again, you got to do it from the inside out. It's not an outside job. And they start to change or they go away. Okay. Even though they're family members. But the other thing is what we talked about last time. Their techniques. One of them is the Opono. I would say look that up. You can look it up online, and you can do that on yourself. This brother turned around murderers in a psych ward. Okay, who were not only mean, but they were nasty and low life and everything else. But it does take work, and sometimes you got this situation. Okay, so but the greatest thing you can do is keep working on yourself. Stay at that level, then God bless them, and you just send love and spend less time. Like this, gotten better and better because the triggers are with your family members. Okay, and she started cursing. I just left. She said, "I know that would get you out of here." You see,
Domino pizza.
I'm not going to
Okay.
stay there. Yeah, I just left. And I left in the past years ago. I would leave with an attitude, but now I'm leaving smiling because I'm blessed, and I'm in a state of higher consciousness. And they're not going to snatch the bliss from me. Okay, and I find that she's more in a state of bliss. See, the world is as you are. I know it's kind of hard to accept that, but that's the truth. The world is as you are. So if you want a better experience in your world, take yourself higher. Do like Sly said in the old days. I want to take you high. Like like. I want to take. Now, of course, he was talking about something else. Okay, but message, go higher. You see, you never solve a problem on the level of the problem. You introduce a new element. The new element is development of consciousness. That it's nothing new under the sun. And I was reading one of the books I've read 5 or 6 or 7 times. That's another thing you want to repeat, right? And it was saying that the ancient adepts, the initiates in ancient Egypt, they were select people, and they only got, they got special treatment. Most of the people didn't even concern themselves about becoming an adept. All right. And most of the people during that time even read and write. You see? But you have the opportunity now. You can get stuff off the internet. You can be coached. You can get stuff off of Zoom. Keep doing the work. And there's no limit. Literally. Sometimes they say that the angels in heaven, which are beings, but you also have that kind of angelic energy within your own self. Sometimes they can be jealous of human beings because human beings can go to such a high height. But most people are just stuck in materiality of eating, drinking, and having sex. And everybody knows that life is more than that. Okay? You're more than an animal. You're a divine being. Spread your wings and you can fly.
Jay, what did you tell him when he asked you the question? The screen froze and I didn't hear you, and you said something about you can look it up and do it yourself. What? I didn't hear any of that because your screen froze up. You told him to
Okay.
look something up. What was it?
Right. Called Ho'oponopono. It's
Opono.
you can look it up. I don't know. Juanita, you know how to spell it?
Opono.
Opono.
No.
It's Hoppono. But if you look up the Hawaiian prayer, it'll pop up. Or even if you just start to type Ho'oponopono in, it will pop up.
It'll come up. Yeah.
It will come up.
I
So
can
it's
tell you, this is
Hawaiian.
Deanna. It's spelled HO'Oponopono. But like she said, if you put that in and put prayer, then it'll come up. But HO'Oponopono.
Yeah. Ho'oponopono.
Opono.
I don't even know how to spell it. Say it again, Diana. H-O.
HO'Oponopono.
There it is. There it is. Ho'oponopono prayer. It's also on YouTube.
Yep.
Book of Ho'opono, the Hawaiian practice of forgiveness and healing. And there's also a guy who's into personal development. What's his name? He's also good with limiting beliefs. Yeah. So Hawaiian practice of forgiveness and it involves gratitude, remorse, love, and asking for forgiveness to heal and change relationships. That's Ho'oponopono. Okay. And it's pretty simple. It's a 4-phrase thing. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. Look it up. And there are books written on it. And it works. But again, you got to do the work. Okay. And then there's some YouTube stuff on it. Trying to look up the guy. He's pretty well known. It's just not on the top of my thought right now. But there's a well-known guy that wrote a whole book on it, which is good. Anything else? Any other comments, questions, application, insight, experiences? The more you share, the more you care.
Jay, do
Self
you
first.
have a list of vocabulary or some things you say and I don't know what it is? You know, it's obviously it's dealing with meditation because you say a lot of phrases, but let's not assume everybody knows what you're saying. So
Right.
do you have a list of some of these things you say, like the hum, brahmazi?
It's not a list. So you just asked me. That's why we have these things.
Well, I mean, you say
we have
stuff
the
like
Thursday.
hum,
So
brahmazi.
you just asked, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a list written down in a book. It's from life experiences. And I can tell you, most of those sayings are Sanskrit. And some of them come from what is called the Vedas, which is pure knowledge. Okay. And that's a whole thing. The Vedas go way back. You can look that up, Vedas. Okay. And it means pure knowledge, but it's a lot of it, and it covers millenniums.
Keep it simple, though. Keep it simple.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be 10
Right.
words. It don't have
Keep
to
it
be an
simple.
extensive list. I mean, 10-word list, 12-word list, just of this stuff. When you threw out betas, I didn't know what that meant until you just explained it.
Right.
So, you know, that was just a suggestion to me because, I mean, it could be a short list, 10 words, 12 words. It doesn't have to be, you know.
Yay, Bo. Anybody else?
I think you mentioned a Thursday that we were going to go over the 40-day that Ron mentioned.
Yes, very good. Yes, we are. In fact, this is your homework. Get this book.
I got that. Got that.
Good.
I got that. One of them is
Repetition is the mother.
apart.
Okay. The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. It's a little book.
Got it.
Okay. And if you already got it, fine. I think it costs like $7 or so. It's a little handheld. Okay. And then by next Monday, I want you to read it, and then we're gonna start the 40-day.
Okay.
There's an abundance plan in there.
Okay.
But read it between now and Monday, and it might even be on YouTube also.
It is.
Listen to, or if you have it, read it again. Remember, repetition is the mother of all learning. And by next Monday, we're gonna start to do an exercise in it.
Okay.
Okay. And this always works. I mean, like always, as long as you do the work. It takes discipline, and we're in a group, we're supporting each other. I've done this 4 or 5 times, and every time it works.
Yeah.
Because you're saturating your consciousness, and you're going at the level of cause. You got to have the effect.
And it's very inspirational.
So
Very inspirational.
Okay.
Yay, bo.
Okay. Very good.
All righty then. So we right around the time that we normally end. It's been another great session. And as I was telling someone, I think it was Michael, showing up. I want to congratulate you guys for just showing up. There's so many things that take your consciousness. All right. But it's good to stop. And I don't know if you got some of you who were in the other course. There's a thing that's called SOMA. SOMA. And we're gonna do some of that course again. That's part of this, because we want to keep, reinforcing. Soma is the ambrosia of the gods. And what happens is when the body starts producing that's okay. There's a thing that's called ojas, OJAS. That's created in the body and literally your body into physical immortality. And that's what we're doing, showing up like this with ourselves. That's what's happening on a spiritual, subtle level. And when we get more into the physical immortality part, again, some of you were on that course, some of you weren't. We're going to go in depth. You're creating this luminous light substance in your system that's taking you another level, that's taking you from death, disease, destruction, and poverty into light, love, bliss, and ascension. We're moving into the ascension. It's just like the brother said, we just had Easter. And you hear one part of the statement, but they took off. And I heard a spiritual guy who was being interviewed, and and the person asked him, well, who is they? It's just some level of doing their job, to keep you into, or some people call it the devil. Okay. All right. So but let them do their job, and we just rise above it. Rise above it. See? So let's just keep taking it higher and higher and creating. The second part of it is, the first part of it is, I am the resurrection and the life. The second part of it is, I am the ascension and the light. Okay? I am the light of God that never fails. There's no such thing as failing in God consciousness. Now you can take stepping stones, but there's no failure. You can take pivots. You can take a different path, but there's no failures. It's higher, more luminous, more radiant, more full of love, light, and bliss. Yay, bo.
That's
so
called
on that
OJ.
note, let's do some love increase. Oh, did you have your hand up, Ngozi?
No.
It was
No,
Ron.
that's mine.
Yeah, it was me. I was saying that's called ojas, that you just tuck the light within the body and the uplifting. Is that the ojas?
Yeah, OJAS.
OJAS. Okay. See, that's what I was talking about. I hear stuff like that. I don't like to
We'll
be.
get more into detail.
Yeah.
On that further into, this course goes for 5 or 6 months. We've only done a couple.
Ojas. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one question.
Okay.
How much does food have to do with manifesting? I've noticed that when I eat light, I feel so much better. Inner, outer, I just feel different than if I eat a piece of meat or something.
Right.
Does it set us back if we eat heavy food like that, or?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just feel so much better when I eat light. Fruits, vegetables, salad. I just feel so much better. So I guess that all plays a part in it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because see, what happens is, when you eat meat, there are 2 levels of it. Okay.
That's right.
One is the karma, which most people don't even think about.
Right. The spirit of the animals. Right.
Exactly. Destroy a life form. Okay. And most animals become more form. Remember, we're not animals, but we do it too. Literally curse you. Okay. And even though you might not be the slaughterer, the frequency in that vibration is there. All right. The other thing is that our time to digest meat. We don't have the molars like tigers. We don't have same colon. Really short. It's really small. So they eat a deer, it comes right out. You can do a little bit of research on the internet, but our colon is wrapped around. It's long, so stuff gets stuck in here. And whenever somebody drops a body, on an average, they have 68 pounds of undigested meat in their system. Okay, when they do an autopsy.
Yep.
Okay. So you're not taking on as heavy karma. And then there's uric acid. The uric acid in the body really gets down the organ. That's another reason why people are not making it, because of all the uric acid. And in the Kali Yuga, they're perpetuating all this protein. And protein. They're perpetuating killing yourself. Okay. So the lighter you are, the more you start stepping into your essence. Also, it messes up your nervous system. Remember, you got to refine the nervous system, not put more stress on it. But it's step by step. I went from being, eating everything. Okay. In fact, my grandmother used to call me pork chops and gravy. Okay. And I had to have bacon with everything, even when it wasn't for breakfast.
Well, that old piggy, he'll pay you back with the high blood pressure. That's from the curse you were talking about. Because when you eat that pork, it'll lead to high blood pressure.
Exactly. Yeah. So the lighter, and understand that you become more conscious where you don't have to kill to live. You see, you're a more conscious being. just because everybody said it and everybody does it. Why? Why are they doing it? Why are they cutting down the forests in Amazon to grow grass for, you know, to have beef grow? Why? Okay. And throwing off the whole planet. It's part of that. I saw a thing on HARP. Some of you might have heard of HARP, HAARP. It's
Yep.
just straight up Darth Vader stuff that's going on all the time, under the seas, in the water, in the air, everything. All right. But the
Not to
is
mention
we
CERN.
are
CERN as well.
CERN, all of them.
Yep.
But the more you develop consciousness, the more you rise up. Just like the brother Neo. Watch that movie again. It's pretty good. Okay. Neo stands for neocortex. Okay, in your brain. Neocortex, then the agents can get you. All right. But when he realized his truth, bullets went through him. He could fly. The bullets would stop, and he put his finger on them, and they would drop. Right. That's reaching your God realization. It's consciousness. You're a Christed being. In fact, we have a little saying about the Christed beings exist in him. I'll give it to you next time. But there's a little affirmation incantation about being a Christed being. So we just keep putting that in, and you want to do everything light. And it's not just the food you eat, but food you take in from your eyes, food you take in from your ears, your nose. And remember, feeling. The feeling gets the blessing. The feeling gets the blessing.
Yep.
So you want to refine your feeling. Feeling comes about from your brain, your mind, and the electrical magnetic thought and the feel in your heart. The two together create the finest feeling that goes beyond the intellect. See, there's a thing that's called the mistake of the intellect. The intellect can make mistakes all the time because it can only go by memory, rote memory. And when people have Alzheimer's and dementia, it's not their memory. It's the vehicle for them to tap, because you don't forget anything. It's all an impression. It's in there. But if you can't connect the pipe, then you can't get it. You see? So that's why, eating right, sleeping right, giving the body certain exercise. Remember the thing, when a person dies, they're in rigor mortis. What do they call it? Rigor mortis. Right? That's why stretching exercises are some of the, because you keep your nervous system. Remember, you got your kundalini at the base of your spine, goes up. That's why things like yoga are really good for you, because you're stretching. You see, some of the highest exercises. As part of my routine, I do yoga every day, but I don't do it in the morning. I found it's better for me because I'm, running around doing things at night just before I go to bed. Keep my body fluid, flexible. I've been doing stuff all day, and I only do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
See? But you keep it flexible. Then the body can go on. You see? And also the foods harden your body and different organs in your body. In fact, I just heard a brother talking about being a watertarian. I had never heard that one before. But it was just basically saying you eat foods that produce water, fruits, vegetables, a watertarian. You got everything. You got breatharian, you got but being a watertarian and us being electric. So you want to charge it up and being in the sun. Okay, yeah, that's another homework assignment. That you get in the sun every day. It's springtime now. Do it for 7 days that you're in the sun. And I'm not just talking going back and forth work or, all right, that you're in the sun for a minimum of 20 minutes for 7 days in a row. Okay. And preferably, if you can, with less clothes on.
I wish.
You got on your bathing.
I wish.
Bathing suit, or you got on your shoe. Like for instance, not every day. I'm blessed. Some of you have lawns and stuff. Some of you don't. But I go outside on the lawn every day in some shorts or some bathing trunks, and I take my shirt off. Okay. So, I take my phone out there or my tablet, and that's it. Oh, I'm gonna take it. Okay. Sunbathe. Just relax. Get in a lounging chair, or I even put a blanket down. I mean, you don't have to go to the park, okay, or to the beach to put a blanket down. Sometimes I sit in my chair, some lounge chair, just soak in the sun. All right. If you can. Some of you live in apartments, you don't have, but if you live in an apartment, you can go out somewhere where you can, go to a park or a beach or, like that. But 20 minutes, because it takes 20 minutes to get the vitamin D. 7 days in a week. This is just an experiment. It's homework. And then I'm gonna ask you guys, next Monday, how you feel. That's your success word. Just do the best you can. If you have a limit in transportation, but just do the best you can. Okay. They hit it for 7 days in a row, sunbathing. All right. So, because remember, we're electrical beings, and the sun, that's another thing. They tell you to stay out of the sun. You see? When the reality is you go in the sun, you charge up. Breatharian making it on this planet is that they're in the sun. So that's part of it too. And the prana is in the sun. You see, on this planet. All right, let's give each other the increase. Health, happiness, love, success, money, honey.
Prosperity and well-being.
Bless you.
Healthy,
Health and
wealthy.
well-being.
Healthy, wealthy, blessings.
Walk in gratitude and faith, and you will receive abundant blessings.
Divine grace, strength, and wisdom.
Ashe.
Peace and blessings,
Ashe.
family.
And some blessings.
Peace and
May you be
blessings.
blessed with opulent, perfect,
Peace and
radiant
blessings.
health and opulent wealth forever and ever. Namaste.
Divine
Namaste.
wisdom.
Namaste.
Peace and
Bliss.
blessings.
Divine
Thank
bliss.
you. Thank you.